All right, everybody. Thank you for joining for our Ignite session, a day in the life of an agent. See, we got Miss Amber over there, kids in the car, packed up, ready to go somewhere, day in the life of an agent.
We're heading home. We're heading home from the cave.
Oh, I want to go to the cave.
Yeah, you should. I have 2 houses. Come with me next time. There's 2 houses. You can come.
I can? I
Yeah.
gotta play hooky.
Yeah, well, it connects to the internet. That's what I did this morning.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, I could do everything beachside. Why should I do it at my kitchen table?
Exactly.
Oh, all right. The day in the life of a real estate agent. It's a lot more than just opening doors, right?
Some days.
Some days, yes. So much more.
Some days it's a lot.
All right. So how many of us on here actually have a time blocked day schedule?
Yes, with all my Zoom calls.
So Rose, you said yes? Sorry, I need 2 screens to do this. Yeah, so we should, right? We should time block our day. We should set aside the times to, make our phone calls, to do our lead generation. Hi.
Can you say hi to me
Hi. And those are the things that we should be doing, and hopefully Bold will set us all straight. So what kind of things do we do to lead gen? What do you do, Michelle?
I keep in touch with my friends via Facebook or text or Messenger, and I'm not good at making phone calls.
Mm-hmm.
Don't like to bug my people. I wouldn't want them bugging me.
Right.
So I don't do a lot of phone calls. I try to just interact naturally through, most of my friends at my age are active on Facebook. I don't do much on Instagram. I have nothing in Twitter. I do have Snapchat, but I don't do Snapchat.
Yep.
I can't keep up with all that stuff.
Right.
I have a hard time keeping up with just one.
And there's nothing wrong with that because you're successful doing it, right? Like you staying in contact with those people via Facebook is kept your business going, and then your kids and their friends, and
I add my clients. I try to do the best I can at staying in touch. I do a few mailings. I usually do 3 mailings a year. I do a tear-off calendar in December for the beginning of the year. I made the mistake of buying Red Sox schedules this year. Boy, that was a lot of good. They did go out, or most of them went out. I usually do the Patriots schedules.
Mm-hmm.
And if anybody's interested in those, I think it's Magnet Street, that is doing, you set aside for them and you get a discount and free shipping. And they won't print them until the schedule is set. So, and if they don't print them, I guess you get your money back. So.
Interesting.
Yeah.
What about you, Miss Amber? What do you do?
Sorry, I'm trying to play a song. Hello. On a regular basis, I usually do. I used to do a lot of Facebook and stuff like that as well. I also do a lot of Instagram because I like it. I like the format, but I haven't been doing it as much as I should recently. So, and I was doing a lot of expired cards as calls as well, but that is also easy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
you use a service, Amber, right? For your expired
I
calls.
do. Yeah, I use Arch Agent now. I've used Espresso Agent. I do like doing like the circle calling, and I should do that again because it was always nice. And I found that people found it a little less invasive as well. Kind of
Now,
like,
you
oh,
do-
I have a listing here that just sold. Is, you know, like, are you thinking about selling, that kind of thing, or do you know anyone who is?
Mm-hmm.
So that seemed to work pretty well.
Now, you do that through Archangel
Yeah,
too?
yeah, because they have that cold dialer in
Okay.
Arch Agent. So yeah, so I use that.
Mm-hmm. And how are you about reaching out to your past clients for referrals?
I'm not great at it. I'm
No.
not. I'm not.
I
Like,
reach
might
out to
reach out to
them,
them and just see what's going.
Uh-huh.
like the
Yeah.
wellness calls. Hey, how you doing? Just checking in. You know what's new, and that's it. I don't do sales calls. You know what? The one I did get a really good response one year. I did a New Year's thing through Bitmoji,
Mm-hmm.
and I did put by the way, if you know anybody interested in buying, selling, or investing in real estate, please keep me in mind. I got a huge response from that. And it was just a simple, you know, that Happy New Year Bitmoji. And
Yeah.
I think I texted it out to everybody. I waited till like 9 o'clock in the morning and then just boom, 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 right down the list.
And it
Took
worked.
about an hour and a half. By the time I was done, people were starting to wake up at my house.
So what do you think your
So-
return on investment was on that one? Did you get
Okay.
something from that? So your time spent, did you get?
Actually, I think I got 2 deals out of that, and it cost me nothing other than
There
an
you
hour
go.
and a half.
There you go.
I don't spend much money. I will tell you right now, I get yelled at all the time. Linda, you know, Chris used to yell at me and Linda used to yell at me. I don't spend money. I am like the anti-spend money person.
Yes.
So
Mm-hmm.
whatever I get.
So the point is that you can still do business either way, right? You can
Mhm.
spend money to get expired
money.
listings, or you could just plug away at your sphere through Facebook.
Yep.
Just saying hi, reaching out to whoever's in your phone. So you're not doing anything obtrusive. It's someone you had
Yep.
made some sort of contact with. But now you're just saying hi.
Yeah, and my Facebook are people that I know. I don't have, you know, I will add clients to it, but I won't add, like, if people friend me and I don't know who they are, they get declined all day long. If they want that, then they can go to my LinkedIn page. I'll add anybody in the world to my LinkedIn page. I don't care. But my Facebook page, and I have a business page, but I'll tell you what, I do more through my personal page. I
Mhm.
think people like the personal touch,
Right. Yep,
and
I
it
would
just
have
got to be
agree.
too much. So
Yep.
that's just
So
me.
we have this thing, right? So we know we all should be lead generating, and the model says that we should be doing it 4 hours a day, right? And that's a lot for some people.
I don't have that many people.
I don't have that many people either. But I don't know. It's for you, it's posting,
Yeah.
right? So
Mhm.
that's your lead generation. Yours is posted. So you don't like making that phone call. So you're not going to sit there with a list where Amber's like, yeah, sure, I'll bang out 30 calls today. If you had time, right? You'd be like, yeah, I'll just sit here and call. And if they hang up and say no, I'll just, okay, next. Like, I know Jake is good on the phone too. So, you know, he doesn't mind getting hung up on. I can't get hung up on. It makes me feel awful. Right. So I'm not going to be a good cold caller. But Amber's good at it. Jake's good at it. Rose is working on it, you know, so I don't know, Josephine, if I think we need to work on it, right? But cold calling is a skill. Like it's hard. So with that being said, where we put 20% of the effort, right? That's going to give us 80% of the results. So what is the big rock that makes up your 20%? Like, what is it that you do that you know what, if I plug away and do all of the stuff that I know I'm supposed to do to lead generate, what is that? And how do you know? Like, for instance, Amber, I knew that there was times where you would say, oh, I got nothing going on, right? And then all of a sudden I have this coming up and this doing and this doing. So where did you pull that from? So you put 20% of something of you, and then you ended up getting people. So what does that look like for you? What's your big?
Yeah, well, I say a lot of it is for me, it's for my referral as well, my sphere of influence people. So, but that also comes from people who were past clients that I didn't know before this, you know, from all that different from the lead generation from begin to begin for. I'm kind of lucky because Chris has been a teacher and worked at the post office, and then his dad worked at Dell. So I feel like I have a lot of people who work at big places that have also helped me with everything. So I think that and then them referring people, you know, treating people right so they refer you after the fact is good. But making sure that people are bringing it up, you know, like he could just sit there and not say anything, or my mom could sit there and not say anything. Just making sure people know that you are in real estate, like it's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I have paid for like the Zillow leads and all that too, and it's like hit or miss. So you can do that stuff. I just wouldn't recommend that being your primary focus.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And a lot of this turns into accountability, right? So if I know I'm really good at it. I don't have to answer my phone for leads anymore. I don't have to do anything like that. I don't have any push. So until you become accountable to someone, like Rose calling me and be like, hey, Nina, did you make those 10 calls that you were supposed to call? Remember what Marilyn said last week? You were going to call 18 people a day. Did you do it? So when you don't have that accountability, it doesn't, you're like, oh, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it the next day. And then before you know it, now you've done nothing, which is where I'm at, Rose. So I didn't do my 18 calls a day. Just saying. So glad
Did I start
Marilyn's not
calling you
here.
to hold you accountable? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I'm glad Marilyn's not here because she did that for us last week.
That's okay. If it makes you feel better, I was supposed to call people last week, and then I had that listing appointment, so that derailed my 50 calls.
Mhm.
And then this weekend, I was not calling this weekend. So today I spent like hours while my daughter was napping trying to make up my 50 calls because
Yeah.
I'm like, I wasn't doing it this weekend. It was too nice outside. So
Oh, it's gorgeous. Yeah, no one
Yeah.
should have been making phone calls this weekend. That's what I'm saying.
yeah.
It was
But I was
too
telling
nice.
myself, like, oh, no one's
I
going to pick up
agree.
the phone. It's too nice outside. They're all enjoying the weather.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Now today I have to make 50 calls to make up for it.
50
No.
on top of your 50?
Uh,
So those are the things that we should focus on, and finding the niche that you want to be in too. So if you're good with for sale by owners or calling expireds, and you're okay with those conversations, then that could be your niche, right? For me, I would love to break and really help my VA clients. That's something where I want to be. And so finding those little places too where you're comfortable and you can have easy conversations with people to lead generate and just be natural and get the business in that natural way. Like Michelle, you're comfortable with the people that you know in Facebook. So those conversations come easy when it's ready for someone to buy, sell, or invest, right? They just comes easy and natural. So with that, where was my point to that? I had a point. I promise I did.
niche down. Yeah, niche down.
Yes. But then also in our day and age now too, you kind of have to be careful, right? Because we don't want to get too nichey where you can't get out of it.
Right.
So right now, diversifying your little portfolio bit is kind of important. So I know, see, I don't want to even like categorize myself with you two because you guys have been longer in the business. But like even with me, it's hard for me to like set my goals, right? So
Mhm.
that's another thing. So if you don't have your goal set, right, how are you going to make sure that you're successful by the year's end? So I know Bold is going to help us out with that, right? This week, hopefully, um, along with other things. So besides lead generating and making those calls, other things that I think we're doing, even if we don't have a buyer, is going and looking at those virtual open houses now, going, previewing homes, because we have to know what's in our market and we have to know what's selling. So do you look at homes now, Michelle, or do you just kind of wait?
I kind of wait until, if I've got a buyer looking, then I'll scour their search. I get a pop-up every morning from Energy of my searches and the new things that are on there. So I'm constantly looking at that. Do I go through every house in Attleboro and look at what the inventory is? No, because it's not going to help me right now.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I could, when I was affiliated with an office locally, we did a town tour. So like the Franklin tour, but it was Attleboro, North Attleboro, Plainville, Fox, wasn't even Foxborough, but, and sometimes we'd go down into Pawtucket and Cumberland because Attleboro borders those towns. And most of us had dual licenses. And then we also had a weekly office meeting. And at the end of that office meeting, we did our office tour. And that was any new listings that came on in just our listings, our offices. It made it easier to have that knee-jerk reaction to that house should be that price. That house should be that price. You didn't have to pull up comps. You just had a natural feel for
Right.
what it should be, or at least a ballpark.
Right.
Right now it's just a little harder being, in an office in Franklin and not a local office.
Mm-hmm.
So
But there are ways that we can do that, right? Setting,
yeah,
I have hot sheets on MLS
Yes.
that
Yep.
you can check on the daily, that I've done, especially if I wanted, if you want to be an expert in one particular area, I suggest that. I suggest getting in there, creating a hot sheet every single morning, wake up, how long that's been on the market. Oh, that finally went under agreement. Like knowing what's what.
Yeah.
And that's happening where you want to be and where you want to sell. I think that's important. I think just to your point too, Michelle, it helps you understand what's selling, what's not, maybe some of the reasons. And even though right now open houses are pretty hard to see, and probably even going to view them if you're saying, yeah, I'm an agent and I want to come view your home,
Yeah,
maybe
at this point in
they don't
time, I'm
want
not
us
going to
to.
do that.
Yeah.
I just think out of respect, for the other people,
Mhm.
they don't need me traipsing through their house,
Right.
But
But
even
after
though
we
I know
come-
that the
after
only
we
place
come
I've
to the
been
other
is the
side of this.
grocery store, but
Yeah. But when we come to the other side of this,
Yeah.
those are things to keep in mind. And for the new agents, not all lock boxes are made the same. So it's kind of good to get into the habit of those lock boxes and not looking like a fool when you show up. That's happened.
we've all been there.
Yeah. I've still come across the ones that are like the high school lockers, except they're the alphabet and numbers. So those
There's
are
a lot
fun.
of those out there.
Yes, those are a lot of fun. So
Don't bother with the push button ones. They freeze up.
I like
And
push button.
to be honest with you, all you needed to know is the 4 numbers that they used, and if you can literally put them in any combination, and it'll open that lockbox.
Who, the agent? If you know the
The
agent?
push button ones.
Oh,
So there's some out there that you literally push the button for the numbers.
mhm.
It's almost, it's not a keypad. They're like little tabs that stick
Yeah.
up.
I have that lockbox.
Yeah,
I love that lockbox.
yeah. I had somebody take an umbrella to mine because it was winter and it froze, and he couldn't get the numbers were frozen, so he couldn't push the button. So he took an umbrella or something to it, and then called me because the springs were sticking out of my lockbox.
Oh, that was very kind of
Yeah,
him.
I had to get a cutter and have it cut off the door.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not very nice.
Nope, I was
It
not.
Not
makes
at
me
all.
feel better that rental I just had stole my lockbox. So I was like,
Yeah.
that's a brand new lockbox. There goes $30.
I can't tell you how many times I've gone to show a house that was on lockbox, and you get there and lockbox is wide open, no key, no top to it. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
okay.
Yeah. Marilyn was like, you should tell them that if they open your lockbox, that it voids your contract. I was like, well, then I won't get paid for the work I just did to find him that lease. Right? That doesn't make any sense.
Why'd they steal your lockbox?
We didn't get paid for like 4 or 5 weeks after we had closed. So I was waiting to get the commission check before I took the lockbox off, but the tenants had already walked in. They already moved in.
Yeah.
So it was one of those situations where I'm like, well, I don't want to take the lockbox off until after we get paid.
Okay, so here's a hint.
Mm.
When they do their first, last, and security,
Mm-hmm.
one of those checks gets made out to KW.
I know, we've
period.
already been through this. I've been through this with 3 other agents. This was just a unique situation where they paid most of their deposit in cash, and they already wrote the other half of the check to the landlord. So I didn't want to take the cash. I didn't want to
Yep.
handle it.
Nope.
Yeah. So,
So,
But-
Next time,
Now-
just tell them they have to go to the bank and get a bank check, or go to Cumberland Farms and get a money order. Seriously, get
Yeah.
paid. Always get paid.
mm-hmm. He
Just
did
take care of
pay us.
yourself.
It just, so his check got lost in the mail. That was the issue.
I had one from a Century 21 office get lost in the mail. That's why
Yeah.
I'm like neurotic. Usually I go pick up my checks.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm like,
the
the
same with
one
you. It was
time-
like over 4 weeks. It's like, I want my money.
Yeah.
They're like, no, we need to wait until we know it's not, hasn't been cashed. And it's like, put a stop order on it.
That's what he ended up doing.
Not
He
my
put a stop
problem.
order on it.
Yeah.
And then Amber and I ended up paying the stop fee for him. So we felt bad. Because, I mean, it wasn't his fault. Like, I knew that he sent it. Like, I was like 100% certain that he had sent it. You know, he actually even stopped by the post office and was like trying to find out what was going on. They were like, it could take up to 3 more weeks to get delivered.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
Wow.
So with Ignite coming up, I mean, with Bold Ignite, we are in
Mhm.
Ignite, but with
Mhm.
Bold, did any of you kind of like sit down with the calendar for this month and actually put in there and rearrange your month to coincide with what Bold is going to do for us?
Yeah, I did it this morning.
For the classes?
Yeah.
Put the classes
Oh, I
in.
did
and
that when
also
I
put
signed
my
up.
lead gen in.
Well,
I didn't put lead gen
rearrange
in.
your
Mm.
to rearrange your normal monthly or daily, weekly schedule to reflect what Bold is happening. So time blocking, only since this COVID stuff have I discovered that I can actually time block. I was really full of it before. I thought maybe it would be too constrictive and that I wouldn't be able to get things done. But now that I have, and I using my Google Calendar, as silly as that is, and it's a very simple tool that I just started utilizing, but it's been a lifesaver since the COVID stuff has happened.
And everything
So-
was in my calendar because honestly, I can't remember shit. So I put
what?
everything, like the other day, I can't remember what was going on, but Don had an appointment. He's like, remind me, don't let me get lost. He was doing work downstairs. He goes, don't let me get lost in the internet and and he wears headphones, so not hear my alarm go off. So I literally put it in there, check on John, make sure he's ready to go, set the alarm.
Yeah.
I do. I'm really good at putting my appointments and Zoom calls and stuff like that in there.
Mhm.
As far as official lead gen, because what I do is mostly on, Facebook, which I'm off and on all day long. I
Mhm.
don't put that in. So,
So this is my schedule.
Yeah. see,
Right.
mine doesn't look like that because I don't have everything that you need to do.
Well, no, but I'm just saying like everything in here, and I've actually combined my son's.
Mhm.
So his is this white part. But as I start doing stuff, right, everything's in here.
Yep.
And it makes me feel so much better. And I don't go crazy, but let's just say like if I was in like morning tasks, I'll come in here and I'll edit and say like what I did during that
Mhm.
time. So I at least have an idea
Yeah.
of what I've accomplished, or what I still need to do.
Yep.
Color coding it, I only did it for like the regional stuff and my mentoring stuff. But it has helped
Yep.
so much.
Well, for the newer agents, just know that if it's not on your calendar, it
It
doesn't exist.
No. And
So-
I really have to even go a little bit further, because even when I thought that I was tracking everything, I
Mhm.
wasn't.
Mhm.
And so now I'm finding out that holy crap, I do so much more than I even thought I did,
Mhm.
because now I'm starting to like really put things into perspective. So if you haven't started time blocking or aren't sure how to do it, I'm happy to help, because it
Mhm.
has been like now my lifesaver. And I honestly don't know how I would been able to function these past probably about 4 weeks is when I
Mhm.
started it. And it's been a game changer.
Yep.
So I think that's very important to start doing. And again, being accountable to somebody. I think Bold is going to help us out this week. So we're going to be able to do that. Between being accountable, and I think even as a market center, we're going to be having script people that we're going to be able to talk to. We're going to have our command classes that we're going to help out. That's going to help us out every Monday throughout Bold. But if you could pick something that you would like to be accountable for, whether it's daily, weekly, monthly, what is one thing that you wish that you can change in your daily schedule as an agent that you feel would make you become better or get you to your goals? Anything? No? Mine
Can
is
you?
scripts. Mine is scripts. I wish I was better with scripts,
Mm.
different scripts.
Yeah.
Um,
I wish I hadn't given my book back when I left Coldwell Banker, because they had a really good script book.
did they?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
it's just, you know what? It's just nice to have it all in one binder. It's all there. It's, it was all professionally printed. It was all there, complete with karate chops and pauses. And, it was the whole thing. That particular script course was all about when you're talking, especially on the phone to people, leaving your pauses in the right place to emphasize certain things. And, so it had spots to take a breath to, and they would have you do hand gestures because you literally get a little bit more emphasis. I talk with my hands anyway, so that's not a problem. And no, there's no Italian in me. So it's, that all helps in making it sound a little more animated.
I agree.
And a little more conversational than just reading off a script.
Yeah, I absolutely agree.
Scripts are set up the way they're set up with the wording that's being used, because of all the studies that have been done, that these are the words and these are the phrases that are best going to resonate with your client. And it was always taught to me that you learned the scripts so that they became part of who you are and how you speak, and then you modified them.
Mm-hmm.
But until you learned them cold, you didn't do anything. Sorry.
That's all right.
I
Right.
agree. Having done some script work with Marilyn recently, she kind of, I got to listen in on her making calls recently, which was extremely helpful, because she sounds so conversational that it's hard to tell that she's actually doing a script. And, from what I realized is that, the conversation's relative as long as you're driving the bus in a certain direction. So if you're making sure the conversation's headed somewhere, that, that side trips with all of the personal anecdotes and getting some more backstory is all relative. And that has changed the game for the effectiveness of my calls since I started training with her,
Good job. Good job, Rose. That's awesome to hear.
I mean, just the difference between me calling you in the morning and then she called me right after we hung up the other day, and just completely changed my day.
Really?
Like, yeah. I mean,
That's
the
awesome.
way that my conversations are headed are so different now.
That's awesome.
Mm.
Well, maybe I should call you. and then you could tell me
Absolutely.
what it is. So with that being said, even though that we are right now kind of changing our month of May to be a little different than our normal, business as usual, there's still the same activities that we still need to do, right? And making sure that we're using our time wisely and putting in the efforts where they need to be for us to maximize the biggest potential for it, right? So every time I start talking, I forget the dang sentence that I was going to say.
I'm so glad it's not just me.
It's not, but this is like my 10th Zoom call today. So how do you, all right. So how are you measuring like your success? Is it just on your GCI, or is it the conversations that you're having?
Currently, I'm measuring mine on just the calls I'm having because I didn't have GCI, a big one last year. So, for me, like, and there was nowhere to go but up. So, that's, one positive thing is I'm looking at the direction that my conversations were going last year and the way they're going this year, and sales will follow that. But at this point, I'm just checking for improvement.
That's good. That's good. So Jake, what do you got? You have anything? You unmuted. So now you're on the spot.
Well, I guess as a very new agent, just measuring my success now would be doing anything, just getting something done, and waking up and being productive for the day, I guess, it makes me feel like I'm progressing, even though it's too early to see results. So
yeah.
I can tell.
Well, right now as a new agent, and even Rose and even myself, if I were to just start saying, okay, I'm going to sell hardcore now, you have to plant these seeds, right?
Yeah.
And that's where you guys are at. You're in the planting the seeds and nurturing it and watering it and feeding them, right? And then if it's a continuous cycle, the normal time frame, correct me if I'm wrong, is about 90 days, right? So 60 to 90 days from now, from all the work and the legwork that you're doing now, should result into a transaction or a buyer that you're working with or something.
Or at least the start of a transaction.
Right. So
but it might even be longer than that at this point. I mean, this is such a unique time, and I know we're all tired of hearing it and tired of living it and everything else, but activity is down. It's definitely down.
I mean,
Um,
I don't,
it's a
you
great
can
time
say that,
right
but-
now to reach out to actually whatever method you want to use to reach out to that sphere, no matter how big or how small, because almost everybody's home, you
Right.
know, and
Right.
kind of looking for that sanity break for 5 minutes,
Hmm.
you know,
Exactly.
something other than a Zoom call or whatever, you
Yeah.
know. So it
I
is
had
kind of a good
I had a Zoom
opportunity.
call with a client. Me and Melissa are working with one together. Because I'm not licensed in Rhode Island yet, still.
Mhm.
So good job, Jake. Good job.
Oh, did you get your Rhode Island license,
Oh
Jake?
yeah, he did it like this. He
Congrats.
was like, forget about it. I got this. So even having that little Zoom call with them, it was like 20 minutes or so,
Mhm.
25 minutes. It means so much more than just that phone call, right? And just because there's no face there.
Mhm.
So, to piggyback on what you're saying is just making those little connections right now is really important. But there are buyers out there looking. I did 3 or 4 of them, like I have.
Yep.
Either I'm helping somebody or I'm referring it out or something, because I got a lot to focus on right now.
Mhm.
I love doing what I do, and it's not that I don't want to sell. It's just I can't give my time that I want to give to a client.
Yeah.
And it's not fair. So I would much rather refer it to somebody than, unless it's like my best friend, but she's a real estate agent anyway. She could buy her own damn house. So, so that's that. But I just, like I said, to piggyback on what you were saying, Michelle, is that it is important to make those contacts, but don't think that nobody's out there to buy, because they are.
Oh yeah, they are.
the
They're out
sellers-
there. As long as they
Right.
have a job, they're out there.
Yes, as long as they have a job. And to even combat the fear for a seller, like for you to start getting a listing or something, to reiterate to those sellers that the buyers are buying. And this is temporary, and hopefully when we come onto the other side of this fall time, I'm thinking late fall. How do y'all feel about that? We're kind of going to be in a very weird market, but people are going to be there. And we're not slowing down. Our prices of homes aren't dropping drastically.
No.
So we're still in a good place for real estate. And having those little conversations that may or may not pop up in the calls that you make to your sphere, or even past clients, if they're all worried about, oh my gosh, can I still afford my house? Do I refinance? So those are all the little things, say, hey, how you doing?
Yeah.
That will help.
Yep. Just keep it simple. Literally, I can't tell you how many texts I've sent out. I sent out a text to a woman the other day that used to live on the other side of the subdivision that I live in. I used to watch her kids when they were younger. When they got off the bus, they'd come to my house and she'd pick them up after she got home from work. And I hadn't heard from her. A lot of things, life has gotten in the way, and she's gotten divorced, and all kinds of things have gone on. The boys are all, God, her youngest is the same age as my youngest, so he's 26. So, whole different world from where most of the agents in our office are. But I just randomly, I've sent her birthday wishes, I can't tell you for how many years, and never gotten a response. And I sent her a text the other day that just said, hey, what's up? And then we texted back and forth for like 20 minutes. It's like, oh my God. All of a sudden, she just, boom, she was there. And it was like, yeah.
That's good.
So,
And even though that we time block, this is the thought that I forgot and now I just remembered. So even though we're time blocking, we have our main goal, but then every day we have that one thing that may change or shift us, right? Which Bold is going to do that for us for the month of of May. So we're shifting a little bit because our one thing right now is to kind of sit in those classes, get the coaching, the classwork, and that thing. And it's going to hopefully translate into us being more successful on the other side of it. So in the book, The One Thing, so not only does Gary talk about how that changes, but individuals who wrote down their goals are almost 40% more likely to reach those goals. But when you wrote down your goals and you actually shared it with somebody, so being accountable, you were over 75% more able to be successful. So having that accountability with somebody is key to being successful. So whether it was being on a team and responding to leads and having that type of accountability, or like coaching, or just like, hey, you know what, Michelle, once a week on Thursdays at 11, I'm going to call you or you call me, right? And we're going to make that happen. And we're going to do that stupid script that we both don't like. Right. And so that'll be it. Or I'm going to say, like, again, I'm so glad Marin's not here because she'd chew my butt, but I love you, Marilyn, if you watch this later, but she's right in the sense where I didn't make my 18 phone calls. You know what I mean? So to bite that bullet and go, yeah, I didn't do it, Marilyn, and so that's a yucky feeling. Like, you don't want to have that feeling. So accountability is really important for your success. And that's like one of the big things that's in this part of the day in the life of a real estate agent is like, yes, we lead gen. Yes, we know what the formula to get us there, but how do we get us there is having the accountability and knowing that I have to do this much work, 20% of digging in my heels and doing what I really need to do to give me that end result. So I think those are the important things. And outside of that would be, like we talked about, if you can, after all that, I mean, we're in a weird time, but reviewing homes, having them hot sheets in MLS for particular towns that you want to be, known in, maybe putting signs out, like Josephine, you ordered some signs that are, to say, hey, I'm a real estate agent, call me. So having those signs out and visible to where people can contact you if they're in the business of buying, selling, or investing in real estate. Kids. So yeah, those are all important things. But I'm kind of excited for Bold to see how this is going to translate into my everyday life. Whether it's to help you guys out or if it's going to help me in my business. I'm not quite sure yet, but I'm kind of excited to see how that's going to go.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how it's going to go too, because I haven't done the other Bold. So
yeah, me either. But so Rose, were you close to making your numbers for Maryland for last week?
So yeah, I did think, I don't know what my page is. 27 calls.
Was that a day or for the week?
For the week, yeah, because I was supposed to be doing it from Monday to Monday, but unfortunately Monday through Thursday I was working on this listing presentation. So and I had like a presentation for his sisters and then for the seller as well. So I had like 2 different days that I was consulting with them. So
nice. Jake, did you meet your goals?
I met not all of it, but about half. I did.
Good.
I was supposed to do 35. I did about 17. So.
And what got in your way?
I started my other class in college. So.
Oh yes, new course.
Yeah.
What are you taking now?
I'm taking database. So they're going to teach me about computer databases and stuff like that. So yeah.
Fun. Josephine, what about you?
Sorry, what was the question?
Were you on last week's Ignite?
No, I don't think
Oh,
so.
okay.
Sorry.
So disregard. Disregard. That's okay. So I didn't do mine. Jake met half of his, and Rose, you got yours.
Yeah, like 27 out of 50.
Okay.
So.
So we all missed the mark. Me, I totally didn't even like come into the same zip code, but that's okay. It happens. But yeah, being a real estate agent isn't just as easy as opening the door and letting somebody in and then cashing a check, right? There's a lot of work that goes into it, a lot of learning that they don't teach you in the 40-hour class. And some of the stuff you end up kind of emptying out of your brain because it's not needed anymore. So having us here, me, Michelle, the rest of the ALC, Mark, we're all here to help you and we all want you to be successful. And we know it's hard. Michelle probably knows a lot better than I do. I mean, you've had those years where probably nothing happened, right? And
I
so,
started in the end of March of 2005. And by August, the market was starting to tank. So, and then it took 3 more years before the bubble actually burst. You could literally, that August, you could literally see it starting to decline, like noticeably. So that was
how it feels.
bad.
But
It is actually the best time to learn real estate
in a shift,
in a shift.
yeah.
Learn when it's tough, not when the money is pouring in faster than you can handle it. And all you have to do is take
Open
a
the
breath
door.
and you get a listing or get a buyer or something like that. Because you're not selling real estate. All you're doing is going through the motions and you don't know what you're doing and you're not learning anything.
Mhm.
So the best time to learn is when it's hard.
Yep.
And it's not what any of us want to hear.
No.
Sorry.
It isn't, but it's the truth. And I think that if we can swallow that pill of
Yeah.
of
And
knowing
now's a great time to do to set up those things, the 411s and stuff like that. And they can be so simple. So simple. I mean, Chris did mine, and he did it to the things that I will do. I will send out the calendars. I will send out the schedules. I will go on Facebook. I will send texts. None of this requires me to make a phone call. So it's where I'm more comfortable.
right.
Occasionally I will pick up the phone, but
Yeah.
for the most part, I'm a little below the line on that.
Yeah.
You know?
And what's great now is that we have command to do a lot of that work for us,
Mhm.
right? To help.
Yeah,
market
someday I'll figure
something.
out how to set that part of it up.
Oh gosh, we'll get you there, Michelle. I promise.
Nina, I know how to do what I need to know to get paid.
That's it.
I know how to do. I know I'm pretty good at opportunities. I'm hit or miss with DocuSign.
That's all right.
But I can get the job done there. It's all the other stuff that help us, that do things for us, that I have
Mhm.
no clue about.
Well, we have the time to do it now, right?
Well, someday we will.
Well, you just said it. The best time to learn is in a shift, right?
I know.
So we will get it done one way or another, right? Well, do you guys have any questions? Next week is going to be Mr. Mark. He's going to do the market center stuff. That's his little bit. So I got to get him to join us next Monday. And then we're just going to plug along. Don't forget to jump on command at 11 o'clock. It was me and Josephine and Michelle. We did our 1 o'clock.
Yep, we did the 1 o'clock.
So that was fun. We did Command 101. It's going to be the same link. So make sure that you guys save that link and join us for next Monday. And then we'll just keep plugging along. You have any questions, concerns? You ready for
How do you
tomorrow?
save those links? What are you talking, how do you save them, Nina?
In my calendar?
Oh, you just put them, you copy and paste them into your calendar?
Yeah, and then when I open
Alright.
up my calendar, I click on it, click
Okay.
on the link, and it goes straight in.
All right.
It's like the best thing ever.
All right.
I did it to the kids too. Did it to Brianna's this morning.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, here you go. I don't know how to get there. How you do,
No excuses.
right? Well, thank you guys so much. I'm gonna stop.